This is all about building a recession-proof business, so I wanted to give you one kind of bonus slide here about building a recession-proof business and just things that I've seen where not just on that financial side, but I'm going to hit on some other things besides the financial portion of your business. First of all, I want to ask you, are you like other investors? And when I say that, do you know your numbers? Do you know where every dollar that goes into your business, do you know where it goes? Do you meet on a regular basis to discuss those numbers? You are not alone if you answered no to any or all of these, because I tell you that we've been going through this. I'm not going to belabor this point because a lot of the previous courses are about this, but if you don't know your numbers, you really aren't alone. There's a whole host of investors. I would say almost 80 to 90% of the investors that I've met across the nation in these different groups don't have a grasp on their numbers like they really should. They don't really know if they're profitable even for that year, that quarter, that month. They don't know their profitability, and they don't know, not only that, how to make decisions from those numbers. So if you are like other investors, you're in the same boat, and that's what this whole course has been about, helping you become really a recession-proof business. So how to build a recession-proof business, and this is just layered on top of everything that we've taken up until this point, but I kind of want to hit again how to build a recession-proof business. Number one, research how much you need to make and what goals to hit in order to stay in business. And not just to stay in business, you want to thrive, of course, but what is that? Maybe you need to reverse engineer, meaning start with the end goal and work backwards. Say, I need at least this much from my business to be able to either quit my job or to be able to not have to go back to a W-2 job. This is what I need in order to stay in the business. And you say, that's real selfish, isn't it? You say, I need to be thinking of others, and yes, but by taking care of yourself first to make sure your basic needs are met, that way you can be healthy for the other people. It's like when they on the airplane, when they tell you when the oxygen mask comes down, make sure to put it on yourself before helping others, because you're going to be not only of no help to other people, you're also going to be a hindrance and a burden to other people if you are the one that passes out because you didn't put your mask on. So that's what you need to really think about first. How can I be healthy, not just for the sake of me meeting my needs, but for the sake of me helping other people? Number two, put a plan in place immediately to implement. And then number three, implement that plan. So that's really, I try and be as simple as possible, but you really need to have that plan in place, but not only that, you need to execute on it. So number one there, research how much you need to make and what goals to hit in order to stay in business. There's a lot of factors in that. Yourself, your business, what is your core genius and is it sustainable? Think of ways you could pivot to still be in your core genius. So you need to also put a plan in place, number two, immediately to implement. There's some areas that I'm going to actually dive into and that we need to take a little bit of time, a little bit more than I have on the previous slides, to actually look at. And then you need to put a plan in place for the next quarter to get lean, mean, and profitable. So here's the areas that I want to take a hard look at today. Number one, your finances. Now that shouldn't surprise you, as the whole course has been really on the financial portion of your business. But number one, income. Are you bringing in enough to hit your monthly expenses? If not, what do you need to boost your income? What do you need in order to be healthy? You really need to know this number. This is a very important number for you personally and for making sure your business is healthy. And this is where I like to think that a lot of you probably, when you think of a CPA or an accountant, it's all about hacking and slashing your budget, hacking and slashing your expenses. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not all about that. And especially from my point of view as the owner, it's about what dollars can I spend today to make many more dollars in the future so that way the business can keep going. You need to be thinking about that right now, wherever you are in your business. You need to be thinking, what do I need to make? What does the company need to make? And are we hitting those goals? What do you need in order to be healthy? Number two, expenses in your finances. You need to take a hard look at your expenses for the month and seeing, can you cut anything out of there? That's why I like looking at income first, because everyone expects it to be, okay, just hack and slash your expenses. No, it's about driving your revenue. Are you making the decisions that will really drive your revenue? And without good data, without knowing your numbers, you're not going to be able to drive that revenue and drive that income. But on the expense side, it also helps to know what you're spending, because if you're spending $1,000 on things you don't use in a month, just because you've let subscriptions just go rampant in your business and you have no idea what you're actually paying for. It would be a good time to sit down and look at that and adjust and reassess where you are right now to see, is there anything that we could cut that I'm not actually using that's not profitable, where this dollar doesn't either save me time or it doesn't save me money or it doesn't save the time and money of my employees. So make sure that when you're looking at it, if that expense doesn't save you time or doesn't increase the profitability, it probably needs to go. But I'm not all about the finance portion for building a recession-proof business. It is just as important, if not more important, that you have the right people in place and that you take care of those people. So a huge portion of building a recession-proof business is the people that you have around you. Number one, is every employee profitable? And we kind of talked about that in a previous one where I gave you what a typical employee thinks about versus what you think about. But every employee needs to be profitable. If they're your cousin, if they're your dad, if they are just a random person that you've brought into your business that you know was a good recommendation, every employee needs to be profitable to you. But at the end of the day, they also need to know that you have their back. So is every employee helping you reach your goals, but are you helping every employee reach their goals too? If they are a good employee for you, they probably have their own personal goals that they want to achieve. And buying that culture, and you're not buying it, but for them to buy into your culture, they need to know that you care about them. Great statement that I've heard from many great people. It says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you are that business owner that cares about your employees, your chance of them being profitable just shot up by 1,000%. And they need to know that they care, that you care about them, that you are there for their needs, but not only that, that if they are profitable, that no matter what, that you've got their back and that you are going to be there for them. That doesn't mean that if they slip up that you shouldn't be talking to them, but there's an appropriate way to do it. There's an appropriate way to tell a good employee, hey, you're not cutting it here. It's probably not in in front of a group of a lot of people. It's probably where you need to take them off to the side and tell them, hey, this is what's going on. I've observed this isn't your typical behavior. How can we improve in this area? If you need to elevate someone, put a goal in place to have them elevated by the next quarter. I've seen this done with a lot of businesses that I've worked with, where I actually, in the businesses, sit down and say, you have this employee. Can they be put in more of a leadership position over the next quarter? And can you kind of coach them into that position? And it's worked very well. We've actually done this with virtual assistants where we've said, we want you to take over this acquisitions department, but we're going to train you for a whole quarter, making sure you have our mindset, making sure you know exactly what we expect of you, which is huge, not just for a virtual assistant, but any employee in your company, that they have the right expectations right up front of what you expect out of them, and then a systematic way to measure their results so they can see it, so you can see it, and so you know your numbers, not just in your finances, but across your business. Do you have the right structure inside your business to be the most productive? Do you have that structure in place to make sure that you know exactly what your employees are doing and are they producing the results? Do they know that you are checking on them? Not only that, but do they know that you have their back and that you not only have their back, but you have the back of the company too, that you're making sure that you're not just coming in there and doing busy work, you're actually producing profit for the company, so not only they have a job, but they're impacting lives through your company too. So people, such a huge portion of the business. It is your number one way of making sure that you're going to either fail or succeed, I would say, because if you have good people around you, they're going to help you push you in the right direction. If you have people that aren't the best, then if you've heard that old adage, slow to hire, quick to fire, that adage is old and very well used because of how applicable it is to your business. You need to hire slow and make sure you have the right people in place. Then you need to fire quickly if you say, this person's either not cutting it, they don't have my culture, they don't have the same things that I believe in, and they really don't want to, they're just dragging everything down and they're not really pushing the profitability forward. Another big thing besides finances and people are your systems and processes. You probably knew if you've watched the other videos that we were going to hit on this at some point because I really love systems and processes, but this is really the difference between your business being an actual business and just a hobby. So I really wanted to go into your systems and processes. Number one, do you have a repeatable way to keep houses coming into your portfolio? So if you're a real estate company, this is the marketing and sales system? Do you have a repeatable way where it comes into your portfolio and then you either sell it or you rent it or whatever your exit strategy is, but do you have a repeatable way to consistently do that? If it's one deal, if you're saying, well, I only want one deal a quarter or one deal every half a year because I'm only looking to do this on the side, do you have a system to get that? Do you have some way to get those out? If you say, I need 5 deals every quarter or every month just to stay in business, you better have a system in place. It better be you better have a process for everything, so that way you know, okay, I can consistently get what I need, but now I can even ramp that up to do what goes above and beyond so we can have our company growing. So is your marketing system working consistently? So are you doing everything as efficiently and productively as possible? Are you able to do everything, not just efficiently, because I heard that statement once where efficiency is doing more with less, or is doing the same with less. Productivity is doing more with the same. So are you actually out there being productive and efficient? Are you making sure that you're not only scaling what you can, as far as maybe scaling down some of the things that you really don't need and making it run more efficient, but then also producing more with what you actually already have? Do you have those systems in place? Do you have a system for your marketing and sales? Do you have it for the operational point? Do you have to where you could actually rehab a house and know that you're going to be in and out of it? Do you know your systems for a wholesale company? How about renting a property and property management? That one can be, you can have a system for that, and that can be built, and that can be an actual business inside of a business, because you've got properties that you actually hold, and then you've got the system around your properties too. So I love property management, but do you have a good system for all of that? And what I mean by that, are you either, number one, recording things as you do them? Because you say a system, does that mean I need to like write everything down on an outline in a Word doc or a Google Doc, or what does that actually mean? It means whatever you can do on a consistent basis to get a system in place. Meaning, can you record as you go along? And this is one thing I love doing. I hate writing down outlines and things because that can change and be so fickle. A website could change and then your whole outline is blown up. But I love making a recording step by step of what I do, and then I put that in a Google Drive folder, and I organize my Google Drive folders for training, and that's how we systematize our business and how I make sure we have systems in place for our business. So that's just one way you could do it, but I've seen people do it in different software systems where they go out and have an actual system to where they can actually input it in some type of software or just a Word doc. But what can you do consistently during the week as you're going along and saying, hey, I'm doing this over and over and over again, not a high dollar per hour task. I could get someone in here to do it. Let me record these videos or let me outline what I'm doing and get that system in place. You need to have a way of doing business for you. So put a plan in place for the next quarter to get lean, mean, and profitable. So now you kind of have a couple things, couple key areas that you can focus on. Now you need to sit down and say, how can I get in those areas and say, what am I going to do? What can I put in place right now for my finances? Can I implement a profit first system? Can I clean up my books? Can I hire a bookkeeper? Can I get an accounting software? What can you do right now to become lean, mean, and profitable? And not only that, but how can you systematize and be more automated so that way you can be more profitable? That way you can get a lot of your time back. So how can you do that? Put that plan in place right now. Outline it for the next year or the next quarter, wherever you are currently watching this video. Then the last thing, implement the plan. There's nothing more important than implementing the actual plan. None of the previous steps matter if you don't take action. And every single day you need to take action on the plan you've set. Every single day you need to be thinking, here's the priority that I set. And I need to make sure I'm working on that every single day. How am I pushing that towards the end goal? How am I getting that across the finish line? How am I going to eat that elephant? One bite at a time. So every single day, you're going over that plan and saying, what am I doing today to make sure that we are pushing forward? Whether that's buying a house today, selling a house, putting a plan in place to have a system for your acquisitions or your marketing or your finances. What are you doing today to eat that elephant? What are you doing to implement the plan and to actually execute? So I wanted to just let you know a couple key things on building a recession-proof business. I really appreciate up until this point all the videos that you've watched. I have one more course here at the end. I just wanted to throw out my book again, just in case you haven't caught it in the other ones, that you can get this book, a great companion to this actual course. For Less Stress, More Profit for the Serious Real Estate Investors, talking about building a recession-proof business. So you can get that on Amazon at the link on the actual slide there. And then I'm David Richter, the Simple CFO. If you want to work with us, go to simplecfosolutions.com, or just more information. I give some information there. So I really appreciate you on this 6th video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next course.